My name is Sheldon Fletcher. I'm with the Lower Brule Sioux Tribe. I spent 23 years as a wildlife conservation officer for the tribe, and now I work for our Environmental Protection Office. Yeah, this is easy. After those two presentations, basically we have the same issues up and down the river. It's the same. So we've been talking about it at our tribal producer meetings for the several years. I had Rock Twidwell come talk about it. Sean Kelly came, discussed it, and then we went into other meetings and with our producers tried to talk about forming the Burn Association, and we realized we just don't have the numbers of producers. Because if you start a group, if it's small to start with, and when there's work to be done, it gets really small, really quick. So that's when we thought, well, we can't just do a Burn Association on the reservation. We're going to have to reach out. Everybody has the same problem. So we reached out, Reliance area, everybody's really tight, get along. So we had several more meetings. Tom showed up, Brad showed up to talk about forming the Prescribed Burn Association. And as Sean said, right, they looked to the south to their neighbors in Nebraska that helped them. Well, we did the same thing. We turned and looked to mid-Missouri to our south and basically copied everything they did. The bylaws, like you guys said, Brad sent us the bylaws. We adopted those. Everything's pretty much the same. So we're actually, I don't have any slides, but there's a small poster back there that kind of shows our area. So we're going to start like roughly around where mid-Missouri takes off, so around like Bull Creek area, and go north along the river, all the way to the north boundary of the Lower Brule Reservation. It's actually in Stanley County a little bit, and then go west to, nothing's set in stone. If we go west, and we're not all the way to the Lyman County border, if somebody's got some CRP or some grass that's flat or something, it's going to be a case-by-case basis that we'd probably help them out if they help us out. So nothing's really set in stone in our geographic area. How all I got started was 23, Sarah and Rich's fire, I went down to help out and mostly observe. I don't think I helped very much, but I may have gotten in a way, but had some of Sarah's caramel rolls. Those are really good right away in the morning. So I went down to that, and I was so impressed on how well mid-Missouri was run and the number of people they had. And the fire went really well, I thought. And Sean said it did too, so I was really gung-ho. Man, I got home and I was like, oh, we gotta get going. And we had a small area in our pasture. I run with my two cousins. It was like 30 acres. And it was some pretty thick cedar trees. We always talked about burning it. So we had it, we talked about it for years. And I don't know if it was a day or 2 days after Sarah's fire. But it's like the wind was wrong because we always thought, well, we need a west wind, blow it towards the river. Well, we looked at the forecast, and I think it was like rain was supposed to in the next 10 days. So I was a little too gung-ho for that. But so we had east wind, and we figured, well, it'll work. So we didn't really have like a written down burn plan or anything like that, but we'd been thinking about that. And it was on a piece of my allotted land, so it's like, well, I don't think we get in trouble for burning our own stuff. So we just went ahead and did it. We had 14 people, I think, show up. Most of them just by word of mouth. We had about 10 that were family, and then like 3 or 4 other people just kind of showed up throughout. They heard that we were doing it. I think Kendall heard through the grapevine, so that he showed up. Reliance Fire Department had a truck there. So we burnt that 30 acres, and we learned a lot. Biggest one was communication, because we didn't have radios. Even though it wasn't a large area, it's big enough not to be able to see the other guys and be going like, oh shit. I hope they're doing this, because I'm thinking they're gonna be, so we're gonna do this. So out of that 30-acre patch of cedars, I think probably a third of it burnt. It was the spring of 23, so there was a lot of snow, and a lot of it was pretty wet. We had a prairie dog town on one side, the river on the other side, but we learned a lot. And we're like, yeah, we need to do more of this, because it's the same issue. Everybody, I mean, you're losing grass. Who can afford to lose grass? You know, you got enough land where it's like, we'll just let that go to trees and, you know, not run as many cows next year. That doesn't work. So after that, then we started discussing with everybody, having more meetings and about starting a burn association. And then I think that winter, we just went ahead and did it, because we were talking, and that, like, the guy from Oklahoma said, is like, you just need to do it. Maybe you don't have everything figured out yet, but you just have to do it. So we did. We met at the Reliance Fire Department, and everybody that was interested, and basically everybody that showed up became an officer or board member. So that's how we did that. Fires we have scheduled. I have one that was 400 acres. Shane Reese has one about 300 acres. We were going to do those this spring. This spring was pretty wet. We didn't get them done. Got good vegetation, a lot of fuel. We were going to do them this fall, but with that fire in the southwest of the state, October was a little hot, a little warm, and we had a lot of fuel, and it just didn't, for our first one, basically, right? The first one as a burn association, we didn't feel comfortable with. We wanted to make sure that, well, we just wanted to feel a little more secure. So I guess we're shooting for this spring now. But we'll have those two, and then last year we had, with SDSU Extension, we had the landowner training at Lower Brule, where they came out, and the half day was in the classroom, and then we went out in the field the second half of the day and burnt 50 acres. And it was a good example of why you need to use fire, because the operator, like 9 years previous, did mechanical clearing and cut them and pushed them down in the draws and then burnt the piles. And that, like I said, that was about 9 years ago, and it was just solid little 3-footers. I mean, it was like, you took them big ones away, but you just pissed off all the little ones, and they were all over the place. So that's a good example. If you're gonna, I mean, you can use mechanical. If that's your only way to do it, I mean, that's good for a couple years, but just know that them little ones are gonna come back in force, full force. So that was a really good example on that, and that really went well. And I think we're planning on doing another one this spring. So we were really excited about that, to be able to host the training and also be, you know, one of the only tribes that was like participating with the SDSU Extension and everything, because it doesn't matter who you are. This problem needs to be addressed. I mean, it's just, we're just losing the prairie. And the significance of losing that and the birds, it's just, I mean, I don't want to live in a forest, you know, along the Missouri River. And I'm only like, I could look out and I'm not even half-mile from the river. So funding's a problem, you know, because it's just like, where do you start? Okay, we elected our officers. We know we want to burn, you know, now what do we do? So we've gotten a couple small little grants. We got one from the Greater Lyman County Foundation, I believe, where we bought a skid sprayer for an ATV. We got $5,000 from Buffalo Nation's Grassland Alliance. And that one's allowed us to get some radios and some other small equipment. I think we put into a couple other places, and we're just waiting to hear. But it's tough to find, you know, places that you can actually do that. You know, that you can get that capital to, you know, buy some good equipment. Number of members, paid members, we're not there yet. we need to make that push. We got all our paperwork filed. We got all that part done. We kind of got caught up with getting these fires. We wanted to just get fire on the ground, even though we probably didn't have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, though. But we thought we'd have 2 under our belt already, but now we don't. So, but one thing I did want to comment on before I get pulled off stage is there was one question earlier today that alluded to like the process to work with NRCS, because we work with NRCS. It's huge. It takes time. If you even have an inkling in your mind about wanting to burn one of your pastures, or you think this might be a good spot, get in contact with NRCS now, because it takes time to plan these things, especially when you're doing larger acres and rougher areas. You might circle it on the map, but then when you get out there to actually get that fire line down, Russ, how many times did we go out there? Like 6, 7, Kendall? 6, 7 times just to make sure we knew which ridge we were coming down and to get set. So it takes time. It takes time to get that plan written. It takes time to get that funding. And then if you need to defer grazing, you need that fuel, that's a year. So I just suggest, if you're even thinking about it, go ahead and talk to them, get it going. And then it's not necessarily going to happen. It could be too wet, could be too dry. So it may get pushed a year or 2 years. I think, Brad, didn't you guys have somebody waiting like 4 years or 5 years? 4? Yeah, so he's 4 years now, he's been waiting to burn a pasture. So that's my biggest message to y'all, is just if you're thinking about it, go for it. Even if you don't have everything worked out in your head, get the process going. So with that, thanks.